Dummy. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Rita. I'm a software tester. I still keep it certified. Next slide, please. So, today we'll be having an introduction to software testing. So, basically, what I'm going to be doing today is a quick overview, like an end-to-end, and it will be more of me touching on topics, subtopics and the likes. So this will help more when if you intend to go further. It will definitely help you more if you intend to go for the internship. So I'll try and cover as much as we can for this free session. But to be honest, it won't be as in-depth as it should be, and thereby leading to more questions, to be honest. But just like as I advised earlier, just try and take down notes that will also help you in terms of your own self-development, which is carrying out your own research. So we're starting off with what is software testing, in case you don't know what software testing is on its own. And to be honest, there are various definitions for software testing. And software testing is an important process in the software development life cycle, which is SDLC. So you might hear me using the word SDLC, and that's one thing for you to note down as well, which is software development life cycle. And this process involves verifying and validating that a software application is free of bugs, and that it does meet the technical requirements set by its design and development, and that it satisfies users' requirements efficiently and effectively, because software acts as a safeguarding um, tool, ensuring that the software is reliable, you know, to secure and meet the needs of the user before it is launched into the real world. That is the essence of software testing. And the purpose of software testing in the software development lifecycle, which is SDLC, is to ensure the reliability, the security, which we'll be talking more as we go along, and the performance before deployment. So these are all the measures we look into while testing before deployment. And deployment is like the final phase. Deployment is when the development is done. And to be honest, software testers have the power to sign off any application to say, okay, this has met users' requirements. It is good it is ready to be used. It will work as expected. So in a situation whereby a tester does not give that go ahead, that application cannot be deployed. It cannot be released. So on the screen, you can see it says, what is software testing? It's the process of systematically evaluating a software application to ensure it functions as expected and meets user requirement, which is what I've said. And it involves executing the software with the aim of finding errors, gaps, or missing requirement compared to the actual design or functionality. By testing software, developers and testers aim to catch bugs early. That's why we are testing, and to reduce risk. This is why we test, you know. If you have a good understanding of the definition of software, you have essentially covered what software testing is, because everything that evolves around software testing is basically in the definition. If you look at this definition on the screen, there's a lot in it, evaluating that the software and it meets user requirements. These are all the things we are looking for, aiming to find errors. So we want to get it tested to make sure that by the time it get out there, it will be error-free, it will be bug-free, to ensure there are no gaps, we are not missing anything. And that is why there's always a requirement, a documentation for us to follow. Yeah, as we move along, we'll get a clearer understanding about this. And there are some core aspects of software testing. If you notice, it said that I added the validating and verification is two components of software testing. They are the core assets of software testing, amongst others, to be honest. And verification mainly consists of or actions out the build expectation. We want to verify the build. We want to know. I mean, with the documentation you have, with the requirements, you want to make sure, we want to verify that what we are building, yeah, replicates the documents. That everything we are building is in the document, is in the requirement that has been given to us. We don't want to go out of scope. Yeah. And then you have the design expectation under the same verification. By the time it is built, is the design what is expected? That is the design expectation. Is this what we are expecting? Oh, now that we are finished, is this we want to verify? Oh, is the design the same as the requirement? This is all what we are testing. So it's like you have a paper document telling you how to do things. And now you have done the practical bit of it, the physical thing. Now you want to compare what you have built with what has been written. Yeah, which is the documentation. Why validation talks about the product being built. Yeah, don't get confused. Verification is built is to check that the build is built correctly. Why validation? If you can take note of those two, we have core aspects of software testing. I'll take that again quickly, which is verification and validation. Those two things are essential for you as a software tester to know. Yeah. Even as we go along, we will use some of these terms in our test cases, which will help us have a clearer understanding as well. So for verification, I repeat, is for us to verify rather that the product is built correctly, that the application is built correctly, and as well as the design, if it meets the design expectation. So all those two are under verification. Why validation is for us to validate that the product is being built properly, the application is being built properly, and does it meet users' expectation? Yeah. That is what software testing is essentially. Moving quickly to the next slide. So on the screen, we have what is software, why is software testing important? And on it, we have early bug detection, as well as quality assurance and risk mitigation. Why do we test? We testers, we software testers, ensure that applications or software functions correctly to meet user requirements. Can you see that we are also talking about what I just said earlier? It will look like we are going around in circle. That's why I said if you have a clearer understanding of the definition, you are kind of done with what the whole of testing encompasses, what software testing encompasses, yeah, what it entails. So we want to make sure that it meets user requirements and that it's free of critical bugs before it's being deployed. So the early bug detection in software development offers significant advantages, including reduced costs. because when we detect bug early, it helps. It saves cost, and it improves efficiency, and it also enhanced security and better user satisfaction. Because by catching the bugs early in the development cycle before it's being deployed can minimize the financial impact of the later fixes. You know, it can accelerate development timelines and help deliver a higher quality product. Because if a bug stays longer, if it remains undetected, perhaps the bug is there but nobody detected it, it becomes more complex and more costly to fix or resolve. We use the word fix anyway when it comes to bugs. You only fix bugs. So those are some of the terminologies you should use for interview. You don't go and say you resolve bugs. You say you fix bugs. Yeah. So early detection significantly saves substantial amount of development time and resources, because if we don't catch it early, it can lead to a lot of factors, thereby needing more resources. Maybe you have to hire testers to come and test it, like consultants and things like that from like all these other companies. Yeah. So it has impact when bugs are not being detected early. That's the bottom line. So like as I said earlier, it is well cheaper when it's been detected early. When it's being detected early, it's fixed to cheap. And some of the benefits amongst others of early bug detection includes higher quality products from the start, because with the bugs being detected early, that means whatever we are building, that application will be as good from the beginning, because the bugs are being detected early, unlike you detecting the bugs later. Maybe you are just testing, and maybe you are just building and you are not testing. That is why we talk about shift left testing, early testing. Yeah. Some companies still do a situation that is I think waterfall, whereby maybe they want to finish development before testing. You know, some companies still practice it, and it's a lot more expensive to fix bugs like that in such situations. So shift left testing approach, it's easier it's cheaper to fix these bugs when they are being detected early. And a well-defined bug tracking system can also help improve communication as well as collaboration between different teams, because testers work with other team members, especially we are very close to developers as well as the BAs. So you want to keep that relationship going. So with a bug tracking system, that will really improve communication amongst team members. And bugs are meant to be fixed on severity as well, which this is a whole topic on its own, but I'll just touch on it briefly, because a bug tracking system will help determine the relative impact of a defect on any product. So this way, the severity that can cause impairment will be prioritized in this instance. So with bug tracking system, it helps us to prioritize the bugs. And how you fix bugs is you go from high to low. because obviously the high ones do come across as blockers in most cases. So if a bug has been prioritized as severe or high, as the case may be, then that bug, most times you hear some organizations will say P1, you know. So when it's P1, that means it needs urgent fixing. It's um it's a showstopper, it's a blocker. So it's affecting maybe it's affecting sales or things like that. So um that is why we prioritize bulk, which is very, very essential, instead of just you know, fixing bugs. Some are cosmetic bugs that has no impact on the application, that can wait in such instance. So a tip for us is I wrote it down here: bug tracking system, improve the bug tracking process by providing a centralized workflow, a single centralized workflow. So that's a tip for us. Bug tracking, I'll take that again. Bug tracking system improved the bug tracking process by providing a single centralized workflow um, from where defects can be monitored seamlessly. Because with a bug tracking system, everyone can see the bugs and it can be monitored. Like as I said earlier, you'll be able to prioritize them and thereby fixing the ones that are of high or priorities or severe, as the case may be. So it also provides a platform for reporting defects when we have bug tracking system in place in life cycle management and traceability of bugs reports, among others. Anyway, moving quickly to quality assurance, which is also another reason why software testing is important. Um, Quality assurance is a systematic process to determine whether a product or a service meets specified requirements. Again, we are talking about meet, because that is what this is all about. We want that application that we are building to meet the requirements, which is the documentation, like I said earlier. So for the quality assurance people, we have to establish and maintain the set requirements for developing or manufacturing reliable products, because customer satisfaction is paramount, and public trust is also essential when it comes to quality assurance um, testing. So QA do help companies to create um, products and services that meet customers' needs and expectations and requirements. As a QA, you must ensure high quality products offering services in whatever you do. You must ensure that the product is of high quality, um, because you want to build that trust and loyalty among customers. And QA programs define standards and procedures that proactively prevent products and defects and other issues before they arise. So that's the essence of quality assurance. It's still part of trying to detect bug early. So in this case, we just want to make sure that whatever we are doing meets the requirements as a quality assurance. And there's a tip I also have for quality assurance, which is quality assurance and QC, which is quality control. They are two different things. Yeah. In case when you are applying for a job, if you see quality control, it says is different from quality assurance. Please be mindful of that, because for quality control, I think the they 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 kind of promote the production. They focus more on processes, while QA provide guidelines, you know. So those are the two difference between, it's similar though, but they are different. And the third one is risk mitigation. So in software testing, risk mitigation is identified as assessing and reducing potential risk that could negatively impact software quality. Again, we are going around in circle, yeah. And we want to ensure that the functionality and the security and performance are uh, in good hands. And the goal is to minimize the chances of software failure to ensure smooth deployment. So we are still talking about deployment because we want everything to be accurate before deployment. That's the essence of all this. So under risk mitigation, we have different types, which under risk mitigation, we have risk identification. Risk identification analyzes the project's requirements. So these are some of the things you would do even as a tester in refinement. Uh, when you are having refinement, that's I think that will be showcased later on during the internship for those that will be around. How it works in the real life setting uh, with the QAs, with the other team members. And during refinement, we talk about the stories that want to be, or the PBIs that want to be committed into sprints. We analyze it based on the requirements, based on the documentation that has been provided. And we analyze it, and that is also when we bring in risk mitigations and the likes. So you also want to, another common risk under risk mitigation, we have technical risk, which is compatibility issues. And we also have integration failures, you know. And we have what we also call project risk, which is under project risk, we have trying to meet up with tight deadlines, because in any project you are working on, there's always a time frame for it. There's always like deadlines when the project is meant to be completed. And as a tester, you don't want to be the one that will delay such project from being deployed or being released as a result of you, risk time management, not because there's any issues or blockers. So these are some of the things which I will talk about. Time management. As a tester, it is one of your soft skills that is required to become a software tester. So, and we also have security risk under risk mitigations. When we talk about security risk, we're talking about data breaches and vulnerabilities as well. And we also have operational risk, which is bottlenecks and scalability issues and the likes, you know, the performance and things like that. So all these, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to overthink it. You just have to understand the requirement. Once you have a good grasp of the requirement that has been provided, then you'll be able to identify any risk around this around the project that is at hand. Yeah. And we also have risk assessments, which is part of what I've talked about, the prioritization of bugs, because you want to categorize the risk highlighted, you want, or that has been identified. So those risks, you have to prioritize them from high to low, you know, based on their severity. And then we now have risk mitigation strategies, right? So under this risk mitigation strategies, we look at what we call preventive measures. Yeah, preventive measures, which you use this approach to implement rigorous test planning to cover all potential failure points. So you must have a preventive measures anyway under risk mitigation strategies. You must look for the do's and don'ts around anything, you know, even any risk being identified as well. Then I also talked about the shift left testing, performing early testing. You know, that approach really do help a lot. It's all part of risk mitigation strategy to avoid issues, and as well as using automations. Yeah. My workplace recently suffered a bit of um, glitch recently, which was due to automation issue not being in place as at that particular time. So yeah, so automation do avert issues like that. So these are some of the strategies that are required. If you work in a place and there's no automation, as a software tester, you can use that and say, why not? Why don't we bring in automation testing, things like that? Yeah. Never, always be open. Speak up. Don't ever assume your opinion don't matter. Don't as little as it can be at a workplace. Always try and have your own input in a case like this, or in terms of refinement, or yeah, depending as the case may be. So because automation will definitely uh, ensure instead of us having repeated regression testing and things like that, it helps. It averts because doing regression manually can be very, very demanding, can be very, very challenging. So with automation, it makes it easier, and consistency is the key when it comes to automation. So we prioritize test cases based on risk as well, you know, which is called the ROBT, risk-based testing. Um, we also have we also focus on critical functionalities that are more prone to failures, like I said earlier. And consistent planning includes preparing backup strategies in case of failure. We have what we call rollback and the likes, and you can have a plan B as well. So you should have a backup in anything you are doing anyway. And continuous monitoring and review is essential when it comes to software testing. And the use of bug tracking to monitor issues regularly and update risk assessments throughout the software development lifecycle. And conduct post-release analysis to learn from our past failures, because that is one of the reasons why we do retrospective. We look back at what we have done at the end of every project to say, what did we miss? What did we do wrong? What steps, even if they, no matter how good the outcome is, there's always something that could have been done differently to produce a better result. So there's always a need for that retrospective. Yeah. Next slide, please. So what does software testing entails? And I've listed, among others, requirements analysis, test planning, test cases, test execution, defect reporting, retesting, regression testing, and test closure. So I'm just going to touch on them quickly. Obviously, I've mentioned requirements, and requirement analysis is an act of understanding, you know, the goal of the software. Like as I said, you have to have a clear understanding, a deep understanding of the requirements, what is supposed to do, you know. So as testers, we use this to create our test cases. because if you don't have a deep understanding of the requirements, you won't be able to create a clear and concise test case. Yeah. Because you want to create a clear and concise test case in order to align with the objectives. So these are essential. And moving on quickly, we have test planning. This process is just to define the strategy anyway, the scope of testing. That's test planning. And because as a tester, or even in most organizations, they have test plan. And as a tester, you should know how to create a test plan. And all this will be taught anyway. Because test plan covers everything around the project, including what will be tested, how it will be tested, who will perform the test, the stages involved, and determining the necessary resources that is required, the tools, and the deadlines around it. Those are the things that test plan covers. Is an objective of the project, the scope of the project, and the likes. 3, which is test cases. Test cases is just like, as I mentioned earlier, with the understanding of requirements, you'll be able to document or design your test cases. We don't say write. You use the buzzword design. So if you hear me say design test cases, it's not because you are going to be using any sort of tool to design. No, you'll be typing your test cases, thereby writing your test cases, but we don't say write, we use the word design. To sound more professional in case of interview, you use design. So well-detailed test cases, which are step-by-step procedures, that would define how to test specific functions and features. So we'll be looking at that shortly. And there are different things that can be included when it comes to test cases, input of data and the likes, expected results, actual and summary scenarios, and all the things, amongst others anyway. We also have text execution. So this is after your test case has been designed, you have to execute it. Now, we are not killing it, but we are executing it. And this is a process whereby you then test what you have documented based on the requirement. Now, if you are working on a greenfield application, which is an application, a project that is starting from scratch, you can write that down. If you use those buzzwords for interview, you will sound so professional. So greenfield is an application that is from scratch. There are no existing code. While brown field application is already an existing code. So basically, it's just a word and opposite. So you have greenfield and brownfield. So in this case, we are talking about maybe a brownfield application now. So you have designed your test cases, and you now want to execute the test. And basically, it's running and performing the test according to your test case. That is how you execute your test cases. So that's just what it is. And defect reporting, which this is a whole topic on its own, to be honest. During this phase, tester observes how the software behaves. We want to see how we use the current behavior to compare what has been written with, in terms of the documentation we have, We use it against, we document any bugs or issues, and that is when we now compare what I am seeing to what is expected. Because when I click on, when I go to 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 website and I click on a toy, I expect that toy to, when I click on that toy and the product page is open, I'm expecting to see a toy. But if I click that particular thing, because I've gone on the product listing page and I said toy, and I eventually opened a toy. I want to see a toy, or let me say I add an item to basket, and I'm expecting it to reflect on the basket icon that I've added an item. And when I clicked on it, it said added, but it has not been added. I can see it has not been added. So that is a bug. That is an example of a bug. Yeah. So now, if I now have a documentation telling me when I put this item into my basket, I should be able to view it in the basket icon or view it in the basket page. Now, if I click on the basket page and it's still telling me my basket is empty, whereas I've clicked on it and it said it has been added and I cannot see it in my basket, that is a bug. Then, so what I'm seeing now is the actual result. Yeah. But what is expected was for me to see it in the basket. Let me take that again quickly because we are going to be walking around that. Now I'm on the Argos site and I pick up an item and I add the item to my basket and it said added. And I click on the basket page. Maybe some website will say view your basket, or you click on the basket icon at the mostly on the right hand on the right top of the site. And when you click on the icon, it opens up and it says your basket is empty. So what I am seeing right now is the actual result. But what I was expecting was for my item to be added. So there's a difference between actual results and expected results, which we will talk about that as we go along. So we also now have retesting and regression testing. So most times retesting is after you have raised a bug, like the way I found a bug for this basket. Now, if I've reported that defect, if I've reported it with the steps to reproduce, how I've explained how that bug was identified, how I raised the bug. Now, and I assign it back to the developer, and the developer said it's fixed. Then I retest it. That is you retesting. That is called retesting. Why? Because you've tested it before and it failed, and now it's been fixed. Now you are retesting. Why regression is there's difference between regression and retesting. So for regression, is considered as when there is a change that happens negatively impacted other parts of the software. So now, because they fixed that, and I said, okay, let me check if because they have fixed the basket page, is login affected or is any other feature affected? Yeah. Now, this is you doing a regression testing. Yeah. Then test closures is after a test is complete. That is after when a report is generated to summarize the results, how many test cases passed or failed, number of defects found or fixed, or unresolved issues. So these test closures, even during the internship, you will have the opportunity to do that at the end of every sprint. So this is to ensure total test coverage, to be honest. That is why we do test closure. This helps stakeholders to make informed decisions as well about software readiness and release. Next slide, please. Okay, why do we test? Who can be a software tester? Ideally, anyone. Yeah. Next slide, please. Ideally, anyone, and that brings us to just touch all of them. Let them come up. I think. Yeah. which is the soft skills. So I mentioned earlier about these soft skills. Is essential, and I think everybody have got soft skills, to be honest. So for the soft skills, we have passion and attitude. Yeah, you need to have that passion in you. You need to like it. You need to accept it. You need to adore it. It has to be something you want to do. There has to be willingness. Nobody's you're not under any pressure to do it. You're not doing it because others are doing it. You're not doing it for, I know some people will say for the money or things like that, but apart from the money, definitely the money is part of it, but you must enjoy doing it, because without the passion, you would not be ready to go extra mile. That's one thing with testing. And testing is so satisfying that whenever you are testing, when you find bugs, especially with automation, you will be so happy, you will be so fulfilled. So these are the things that come with a passion. So when that passion is there, you will get all these kind of feelings in you, especially because with automation, say for instance, you have written a code, even with manual testing, to be honest, depending on what you are testing, even with API, which is manual testing, it depends, not REST API. REST API is automation API. Now, say for instance, you are testing something manually or in with automation, when you successfully accomplish what you want to get, especially, let me just use automation, because sometimes you've taken time to write your codes and now you just want to execute it. You will expect it to just pass, and then the next thing is telling you, oh, there's something wrong with your feature files, or there's something wrong with your base test, or there's something wrong with your page objects, and you just have to do some debugging and things like that. And sometimes some of them are just easy to fix, while some of them are not, if it's nothing to do with even the code you have written. Maybe you just need to update your Chrome, you know. But the good thing is it will always tell you where the issues are. So, and once that is completed, and sometimes maybe you mistakenly put a full stop where you don't need to have it. Maybe you're supposed to put a semicolon there, but you mistakenly put a full stop, and you didn't even, it's staring at you, but you didn't see it. Sometimes when you spend too much time like that, you can easily uh, you might not see it. Maybe you take a break of 15 minutes and then you come back, boom, you see it. Or you just call another tester and say, just look at this code for me. What do you think is wrong? And the tester will just point it out. But you have been staring at the screen since. So sometimes well, especially you just need to take some time off. I think I saw somewhere where they said always take, after every 30 minutes, you take a break of maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But because sometimes you have something to do or you want to meet up with deadlines, we don't follow all these things, but it do help. And so what I'm trying to say is you need passion when it comes to software testing, because it's so satisfying and it goes with being passionate about it. So a good tester should have a passion for quality and a commitment to ensuring the product meets high standard. You should take pride in your work, and you should be dedicated to delivering products that meets or exceed customers' expectation. So with passion and the attitude, with the right attitude, trust me, these are this one number one soft skill that you need to become a tester. Let's continue quickly. We talk about verbal and written communication. It's essential in every workplace. Anyway, that is self-explanatory, but I'll just touch on it quickly. Is the ability to articulate thoughts and express ideas effectively, um, either orally or, that's non-verbal communication, and in some cases, maybe you want to instruct or you want to inform or persuade somebody. So this is where it comes in. because like as I said earlier, we kind of relate with devs and BAs, and you want a good rapport with them, to be honest. If you are trying to persuade them to see things from your own perspective, you have to do it in such a acceptable way. You don't instruct them. You have to give them, let them see things from your own side of view, from your own point of view, you know thereby persuading them, not kind of forcing them to do things. So this is where verbal and written communications comes in, you know and as well as you have to be a good listener anyway. you know Amongst your team members, you have to be a good listener. And for analytical skills, you have to have the ability to be able to think out of the box. You have to come in with thinking, problem solving skills, things like that. But, there are some people that likes to want to know why. I always say QAs, we are prognosers, in the sense that we want to know why. We always want to know why. There's always a reason for us to do something. We want to break this thing because we want to know why. I mean, that's one way of putting it. But if you have that kind of attitude whereby when you see something, you are so curious about it, you want to know why this thing is like this, why is it like that, then those are kind of the kind of skills that is required for a software tester. It's a very good one. Keen eye for detail. I can never forget. You can go for a job interview. I think one of our mentor, my coach, shared this with me in the first time of our. So um okay, keen eye for detail quickly. Yeah, attention to details. Like as I said earlier, you could go for what is it called? For an interview, and they will ask you, what did you see on the door? Things like that. So as it's like what I said earlier, we are prognosers. So as a QA, you want to be vigilant. You have to know what is going on around you. You have to be curious. Yeah. Ability to identify issues, you know, and regardless the size, like as I said earlier, your input matters. Don't ever think, oh, with my opinion matters. That is one thing. You have to contribute as a QA, and no matter the size, but important, crucial, and that other people may have not noticed. So these are kind of the things you want to bring in. And for time management, like as I said earlier, prioritize wisely. It is so essential. I cannot emphasize on that enough. You have to prioritize wisely as a QA, and goal setting is also important. Goal setting, planning, deadlines, and you have to start early. If as a QA, you don't wait till development is done before you start testing. Once you have your documentation, you have the requirement, go ahead and start testing. If I have the time, I'll show us what it looks like a day life of a QA. Next slide quickly. I think that would be the technical. Just touch all of it for me, please. Thank you. And again, just to buttress what I've said earlier, uh, agility is one thing that is very, very important, because it showcases a high degree of what you can do in a workplace. Is critical for a long-term success, at a workplace. Ability to work under pressure, adaptation, and the like. So, because what I put there is just few, but there are more that you may have that you want to bring in, and it will really go a long way. So, for the technical skills, we have computer literacy. And the computer literacy is just you don't have to have any degree in computing to be a software tester. Just come as you are. You don't need to, even if you don't know how to navigate around software, which I'm sure everybody, if once you have a smartphone, then you are good to go. Once you use a smartphone, then I don't think you will have issues. It's the same as operating a website. So um, because with computer literacy, it's just the ability to be able to use computer related technology efficiently. It can be as basic as just how to navigate. That's just it. And anyone with the right mindset skills, define your own success, read and learn, and the willingness to learn can become a software tester. The second one is design test cases, which is what we've talked about. So you'll be taught on how to design your test cases and create a test plan. Like as I said earlier, you should be able to create a test plan as a tester. And what a test plan is once you have an understanding of the project, it's just to document it and say, okay, these are the resources we will need. This is how we will test it. What kind of testing approach will this project require? Because sometimes it might depend on the approach on the project for you to know the kind of testing approach that you will use in some cases. Those are some of the things that covers test plan. And it's not, sometimes some organizations, your QA lead might create the test plan, or your QA manager. But even as a tester, if you know how to create it, is good as well. It's a plus. And so for manual testing, you'll be taught on how to which is what we are doing here anyway, manual testing and automation. So for manual testing, that skill is important because this is you coming up and say, I'm a tester. So you can either be a manual tester or an automation tester. And an automation tester can as well be, for you to be an automation tester, so you have definitely been a manual tester, because manual tester is like the foundation of it. And so for manual tester, it's to form the foundation of the software testing. It helps us to just form the foundation of the software testing, and it helps testers to understand the functions, the functionalities of the requirements, and the real world user behavior. So that's what manual testing is basically, how to write the test case design, because these are the things that are under manual testing. For you to design your test cases. For automation, we call it test script. While for manual, we call it test case. And under manual testing, we have exploratory testing, which includes finding issues without predefined test case. So exploratory testing is if maybe you just want to enhance yourself now. You just want to try what software testing looks like, and you pick up a site, say for instance, Tesco, and you just test the login functionality. Now you are testing that because you don't have any documents. Nobody has given you any documentation, no requirement. So you are just doing an exploratory testing. So when a situation whereby you are testing without a predefined document is called exploratory testing. There are other different types of testing anyway. Moving on quickly, test cases is also, which is regression. All these are all under manual testing. That includes bug reporting as well. Why automation speeds up testing and increases efficiency, and it helps reduce repetition. Unlike in manual efforts anyway, unlike manual, you keep doing it again and again, even if it's the same thing, you can hardly reduce test cases when it comes to manual. But in automation, you can reuse your code. It will save you time, in regression and in performance testing. Next slide quickly, please. Thank you. Next slide, please. So touching on the tools that are used by software testers. So these are some of the tools amongst others. Excel. Most companies don't use Excel anymore anyway, but Excel is mainly used for manual testing. But apart from that, you can also use Excel for other things. So it's essential to know Excel. Azure DevOps as your management tool, Jira as well as Confluence, and C# for automation, and which is Selenium, and Java. I think this cohort is C#. I don't know. Anyway, Java and SQL, which is SQL, MySQL and the likes, API, Playwright, and Cypress, and Teams for communication. Next slide, please. So you don't need to know all this anyway. for the tools. So you are either using C# or you are using Java. And the good thing is if you know one, you are able to use the other one effectively, to be honest, with just little brushing, teaching. Where can I work as a software tester? Gaming industries, government defenses, and the likes, e-commerce and retail. There are different places you can work as a software tester, because you might be thinking, oh, as a software tester, where will I work? You can work anywhere. Health sector, um, financial banking sectors, telecommunications, and media entertainment, non-profit NGOs, educational institutions, and the likes. Yeah, I don't want to start touching on those for now, but I think it's pretty easy. Um, so next slide, please. That is pretty easy for us to understand. There's no point explaining that. Okay. As of this was I think early this year. I did that for uh this is from Indeed, I think, or Read. This was the average salary of a software tester. Next slide. Well, the one I did today was slightly lower. So which tells, oh, did I not change it? Okay. Check the other slide for me, please. I thought I put that off today. Mm. Next slide, please. So depending on what the market is, what is happening on the market, the prices, the salaries do change. Um, it depends, and I think it depends on experience, companies, and sometimes location. Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't matter somebody else, but the thing is, you can easily uh move from one company to another. So, but what you want to do is to get on the IT ladder first, by all means. Yeah. Regardless of whatever you have been offered, because once you have that experience, you'll be able to start moving from companies to companies, transiting into other roles as well. Next slide, please. Is that the last? Okay, thank you, everyone. Um, if you stop the recording, please, I think. Please tell you my success story. So I am a so my background is banking and finance, and even though I have uh existing computer, so when I mean existing is because those days computer science, whereby I don't know if you know Lagos City Computer College in 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓, one of those likes. I attended one of them back in the days before going into uni while I was waiting to get admission. So that's how much that's the little experience I have about computer then. And if you know what I'm saying, you don't even see is it how do you even see the computer, talk less of the lights, all those things anyway. But that was really nothing that I can bring to the table compared to where I am now. I did not transfer any knowledge from there, to be honest. And so my background is banking and finance, like as I said earlier. So a friend introduced me to this platform because, like Aya said, maybe I don't talk too much as well. I'm open, but I can't do BA as well. That's me. That's my own opinion. That's my choice. And I like software testing because I think you can do things on your own. You can be on your own. So I like working like from the background and just shining from afar. So the lady that introduced me to BlueSky was also coming from software testing background. So eventually I followed her step, and so I started with software testing, and I was like, I have a deep understanding. I moved quickly because I was able to write test cases, because the good thing is everything is in English, even the code. So I was able to write test cases. And I remember my mentor then, she was like, okay, Rita, you are so good with your test case, because each time I write test cases, I'll send it to her. She's still on the platform. And she went, oh, Rita, yes, you are good. That's it now. That's enough now. Just move on to automation, which I was slow. And I started with Java, which I kind of struggled a bit. Now, I completed the internship. When I completed the internship, I said to my husband, oh, please, maybe I need to go to uni. That how can you really understand this thing? Maybe I need to go to uni, that even to navigate around the the computer is a bit difficult. When they will tell you hamburger, they will tell you this, you don't even know them, things like that. So I said, maybe I should go to uni and have basic understanding, then I will come back. Okay. So after the internship, I went for graduation, and I was just doing being my usual self. And that's one thing with BlueSky. If you shine, you won't shine in vain. Everyone will see that you are shining. That what I'm trying to say is, when you put in the effort, it will be so visible. You can't hide it, even when you try to hide it. So I was spotted, and I was given scholarship into the advance. And so when I got into the advanced has transitioned into C sharp. Remember, I said I did Java in the internship. So I became like, I didn't understand. And advanced, they are not taking it from the scratch. Advanced means you have a basic understanding. You are good to go. Some of my mates, some of my cohorts then got jobs even just immediately after the internship, but it's not for everyone. And to be honest, I will tell you, I am one of the slow ones. Yes, in case you are somebody like me, trust me, what you just need is consistency. So anyway, I was one of the slow ones to kind of understand automation anyway, in on that note. But yeah, eventually, and my mentor then, oh my God, she was like, do this, do this. She didn't even know that I didn't even know this thing. I was so overwhelmed by it. But I said to myself, and she's a woman, I said, if she can do it, then so can I. So I said, I will definitely. She don't have two heads. She's a woman. So what's my excuse? She have children. I have children. I will do it. So I restricted myself from social media all through that period. And mind you, remember I said I want to go to uni. Eventually, my husband was like, okay, because my husband wanted me to go into nursing and all the like, and I don't like nursing. Because I'm too soft. If somebody is sick, I will be the one crying for that person. So because of that, anyway, I don't want to do things like that. So anyway, so I enrolled for the nursing. Eventually, I switched to computer science. Thank God I was able to switch. And so what I did then was just like a level 3. So I completed it. And while I was doing that, and it was so hectic. Now, computer science covers everything. Now I was doing data, I was doing SQL, I was doing everything. I was doing networking, cybersecurity. My heart was heavy, and I was also on the advance. I remember introducing one of the girls, and when she joined for data science, she joined the under 25, and she was like, Rita, how were you able to do this in school? And she was like, she could never. And I remember then people, when I would turn up, because I go through late nights, in the morning I'm up, I emaciated and all that. Anyway, that was the stress that I the input that went in from me. And eventually I completed that, and I said to myself, I'm not going to progress to any uni, anything. I said to my husband, people are coming out 3 months getting 70,000. That 3 years I was spending in uni, I've earned my money. And God just backed it up for me, to be honest. So when I came out, all my friends, I went on to write, what's the other one called? When you want to go to uni. So I've forgotten it now. I did all that because they were like, you never say never. So I said, okay, no problem. But I said I wasn't going. Eventually, I didn't. And I continued. And not too long, I got my role as a software tester. And during the interview, I was favored, to be honest. And one thing you need with this is, and the people you are going to meet, you don't know them. The people you are contesting with, you don't know them. You don't know who they are serving. So you need to, whatever you are serving, you need to be prayerful as well with it. So I was very spiritual at that point in time. I'm not gonna lie, because it was kind of competitive at some point. I remember going for one of the interviews in where's this place again? Not Canterbury. Yeah, Canterbury. Yeah, Canterbury. I think no, not Canterbury. I've forgotten the name now. And it was meant to be 4 days on site, and everyone was like, "Ah, you will go." And I remember going for the after the second phase of the interview, which was face to face on site, and the it was saying presentation, and it was going to be for 2 hours. So everyone I was telling was like, what are they going to be doing for 2 hours? What are they going to be? I said, let me just go. One of the reasons I want to go is to conquer my fears, because I've always said, when they call me for face to face, I will not go. But I said to my husband that I was going to go, even if I don't get the job. It was in Cambridge, and I remember going that day to and fro. I spent £200. Thank God, uh, they covered the expense, because yeah. So I went for it, and before you knew it, 2 hours was over. Though the money was very good, I'm not gonna lie. So I missed out on that, and I was weary. I was tired, but I just kept on going. And eventually, the one that was mine, or that is mine, when it came, it was effortless. The first stage of it, even the man was like, he was late, and then he came. Oh, he's not going to on his camera. Da, 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 da. I said, no problem. Oh, do I mind? Do I still want to continue? I said, of course. And he was just rushing me. He was just in a hurry to finish up. And okay, so I asked him my questions and the likes, and he went, okay, the next guy is gonna. So he was just giving it away, like he has put me through. Oh, I should ask the next guy, the next phase of the interview. The guy will fill me in with all my questions I'm asking regarding the company. Little did I know he was leaving the company, and he was the QA manager. Anyway, now fast forward to the second interview phase. This is me meeting, thinking it was going to be a technical one. I was ready for technical questions and the likes. And the man was like, "You are so good." Everything. So I was now talking about my experience and everything. And he was like, "I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not from that field. I have no knowledge. But from what I know, you are so good." And the previous guy I spoke with has filled him in that I am really, really good and things like that. And yeah, he just went, "Oh, I'm just here to know you." Shocker. And yeah, I that was how I got my job, and it has been so wonderful. Yeah. And that is my success story. I don't know if I'm meant to. Yeah, I just try to be brief about it, but in whatever you do, try and be yeah, whatever. I'm not telling you to belong to my faith or whatever, but whatever you believe in, just yeah, be consistent with that. And you pray hard, you read hard. Yeah, I'll end it there. And let me quickly go into the practical bits. If you can stop the recording, please. Okay. So quickly, is it a day in a tester's life, or how do we say it? So basically, this is what the board will look like. Let me see. So this is what the board will look like. That is if you are using Azure as your management tool. Depending, Azure is very expensive, so a lot of companies run from it, but it's the best. And that's one of the good things with BlueSky. We use top notch. So when you go to a company that is using something lower, you will so look like a bigger person. And I'm telling you from experience, that was what I got. So this is what the board will look like. Remember, I clicked here, boards. You have board of board. So you will have all the this would have been populated. You will have the new, what the BAs are doing, the BA done, the stories that are approved, the stories that were committed into sprint, and then you will now have the stories in or the PBIs Dev means this is the dev's column, the developer's column. They are working on it. Yeah. So once it's done, and once this has been moved to done, I just do that for the purpose of this, because this thing is closed. Okay. Yeah, as a QA, I will come in the morning after my scrum. Oh, okay, there are tickets waiting for me, and I will just pick this ticket and move it here. In QA means I'm working on it, it's in progress. Once I finish working on it, I will then move it to done. That's all you need to do. You are only working with these two columns. Even in BlueSky, because we do use Azure in BlueSky. So you are only going to be focusing on this column. Once you see a ticket is in this column, not from here. Remember, dev done, you can write it down. And then you move it to in QA. In QA means you are now working on it. Once you are done working on it, you move it to done. Now I'll move that quickly. So say for instance, that's the ticket, I've opened it up. Yeah. When you click on the PBI, it will open up like this. So the description is telling you basically, it's just an overview of what you are testing. So it says, as a user of RigTube website, I want the number of views displayed on each video to be real time so that accurate and up-to-date information. Yeah. Which is 3 acceptance criteria. You have scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. In some cases, you might have more than that. But it's so easy because this will be taught as during the internship because yeah. If you notice the first step, it says, given I'm a user on RigTube. The second step says, I can see various education videos. And the third step said, when I navigate to video details. Now, as a tester, can you tell me, how will I put the question? Okay, let me just go straight. So these first 3 steps, so it's what we call the, what's it called, step. You just create a step and then you will name it. So once you have a deep understanding of the test case, like duplicate steps, what you create one step, that's the name, share step. Okay. Sometime. So remember, we have all the effort and things like that on the board. As a QA, you will populate your time that you will use, your effort and the likes. And so if I now want, so this is from, this acceptance criteria is from the BA. So when the testers want to now test this particular PBI, I will go to add link. I've created one before. Oh. Let me see. Okay. Add link. Okay. I didn't save it. That's fine. Add link. You say new item. You will get this pop-up. Yeah. With this pop-up, all you have to do here is you look at this drop down. This is called drop down. Yeah. We are not testing a bug. So it's a task. And then you put the title. And the title says read time. So just for the sake of this, view whatever, view, what is it called? View counts. Yeah. And add link. Now, this is where I will now write all my steps. Oh, this thing has happened again to me. Hope I remember. Please be muted for the sake of recording. No. Yes. This thing also happened the other day. Allow me. Add steps. Yeah, oh gosh.
Seems like because you have not yet created
No, I
the
have.
apps.
I have. This has happened to me the other day. Mr. Digital. No, it's not there. Mm, there is some supposed. Okay. Put on the recording. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So basically, this is where you have your steps. It is you that will populate it. So this has already been populated. So once you click on it, it will be empty. And on this action, you just populate it with the acceptance criteria. Why this we say expected results and actual results. Attachment, sorry. Yeah. So I don't know if that's clear enough, but it's not it's as easy as it is. Once it's on the action, you just populate it with the acceptance criteria that you have been given. What is your acceptance criteria? Let's go back to it. This is your acceptance criteria. Yeah. So if you notice, all what is here is what is on the test. Let me see if I can open it side by side. Let me duplicate it. Okay, so I've duplicated the bot. Hold on, let me track this. Let's see that one. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back on this one. So I duplicated it, right? Thereby making my screen into two. So if, say for instance, you're in a workplace, you might be using two screen. Yeah, this is what happens. So this would have been screen one, screen two, right? So to test it, so this would have been empty, like as I said. I want to drag it up. Here's the bar. Okay. Anyway, so this would have been empty. And if you look at what I was saying earlier, given I log into, is it the same? Is it a different story? Oh, okay. It's a different story. Oh, apologies. Okay, let me look for this story. This says log in as an instructor. Where is it? Log in as an instructor. It's not here. Where did I get that from? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is you put all the where did I get these tests? Okay, let me open another one. It's fine. This has got no acceptance criteria. But basically, if you understand what I'm trying to say, it's easy, to be honest, because this is manual testing. We've not started. Yeah, I don't know. why I can't find login instructions. No. Oh, this is Netflix, and this is what? Let me see. This is what? Yeah, it's also Netflix. So here is oh, okay, yeah, the acceptance criteria is different from what the person obviously put there, but I don't know why, because I think it's the same thing I opened. Let me try again. No, not this one. Let me see. Okay, because these projects, they are closed anyway. These projects I'm using as an example. These were tested on 2 years ago now. Yeah, they are closed. Hence yeah. So these projects, I don't want to touch on a new project that we are working on, to be honest. I don't want to do that. I have a team but I don't want to open that project. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is is that one? Okay. Yeah, I clicked here, didn't I? And it opened up login as an instructor. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so basically this bit needs to be what the BA has given you, which is the requirement, which is the documentation that you have as a tester. Basically you are just replicating, putting them here. Yeah. And so the expected result, this is where you will now input the expected result. So once you've got this expected result, let me maximize it. Once you have this expected result, once you are done with that, now if you want to execute that particular PBI, which I think is this, yeah. So to execute it, you can see these three eclipse, yeah. We click on it, not right click. We click on it, and then you say run test. When you say run test, you get this pop-up. This is you executing manually. So you must have the website alongside, maybe on your second screen. If you are using one screen, all you have to do is just to minimize this and open up the environment where you are testing, the application under test. When you hear AUT, you can write that down, application under test. So what you just do, given I log in into yeah, this is something else opening for me. Okay. Given I log into Jobrizo website, the expected result says should be successful. And you look at the website. Oh, when you log in, is it successful? If it's successful, then you just kind of manually give it a pass. Yeah. And then you go to the second step, which say when I click on the login as an instructor button, should open instructor page. And then you look at the website. Is it doing as expected? Yeah. If it's not, you click. And then I should log in. Expected results instructor page should be open. If the page does not open, you do that. That's it. Once you do that, you put in the reason, your comments or whatever. Then you add screenshots. If you have screenshots, you click on add attachment and the likes. You add the screenshots. This record screen with audio, I don't think is working. Oh, sugar. Let me see if I still have it open. Yeah. So if you notice, it says create a bug. I don't want to create a bug. Once you click on this create a bug, it will bring out the steps to reproduce. So this will be touched on another class once we are doing the defects. Yeah. So for the purpose of this class, I will just show you what you'll be using because you don't have the Azure. and Azure is licensed. There's no free version for it, unfortunately. Um, so for starters like this that are yet to be added to any team on Blue Sky, we use Excel. So if you look at this is one example of a test case that has been documented, and this is for prep major websites. So I want you guys, you can take a screenshot of this to write a test, design a test case with all these features. Feel free to add more to it. You can add more features or anything you want to add to make it more robust. Is up to you. Yeah, but just ensure you are covering everything that is required. Now, remember, you don't have an acceptance criteria. So what you are doing is exploratory testing. So you don't have any predefined document. So what you'll be doing is, what you would do is, when we do exploratory testing, you go to, let's say, Sainsbury's, and then you look at their login functionality. Now, what's the first step? I click on Sainsbury's website. When I click on login, then first of all, create an account or log in anyone. So for you to be able to log in, you must have created an account. When you enter your credentials, emails, and password, then you should be able to log in into your account. Those are just the few steps. You don't need too much. If you want to push yourself, I will be very glad. You can as well do negative testing, but if you don't know what negative testing is, it's fine, completely fine. We'll touch on that next week if we have the time to do that. So this is another one. But what I would like is if you guys can use the given when then 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 syntax like this to write your test case. So these are your steps. So this will just look like your scenario. So what you are doing basically is you are just doing what the BA would have done. So this is you looking at the website and using it to create a scenario, thereby just following the approach, the steps. So it's just step by step. What you do is you open the website, you write in that, given I'm on a certain website, and I click on this, yes, and I click on that, and that redirects me and the likes. Yeah. So I think there was a slide that was missed that would have helped us with this, but it's fine. So let's please let's any question anyway regarding the assignment and any other question. I'll leave this for now so that you guys can see it. I'll leave this, but this is not populated properly. But the only thing you need here, I did that purposely. I left it halfway. Is for you to use this 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶 syntax. It's called the given when then. Yeah. And if you need more info on how to test it, it's as easy as you can see. It's very easy. Because if you were to be on prep major, or you are just, the only column you populate is the expected result, and you just execute your test case. So the action is just for you to duplicate whatever the acceptance criteria you have and just put it in there. Yeah. So is that clear? Any question?
Thank you very much, Rita. You have,
Yes.
there are two hands up currently. So Gabriel, hi, good evening. Would you like to?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I don't want to stop sharing in case somebody is still. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So thank you very much for the introduction and the brief explanation that you have taken us through. My first question goes to the area when you are discussing the software development lifecycle, talking about the requirement analysis, test plan, test cases. So I want a better explanation on the implementation and execution. What is the difference between the implementation and execution? That's my first question.
Okay. What's your second question? Or you want to take it one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time.
Okay, when you say implement, what do you mean by implement what? The test case or what? What are we implementing? So I understand the execution part, but I don't, can you repeat the question again if that will help
And my
you?
question is, I'm really confused between the two. That's implementation and execution. What's the difference between the two?
Did I mention implementation? Did you get the implementation from me? Because I'm also confused now. You've confused me.
Okay, maybe I'm the one that is getting it wrong. Yeah, getting
Yeah.
it wrong.
So if are you talking about the difference between manual and automation? Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no. I'm not. I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so on which slide? I don't know. I'm not the one with this. Can't share. Let me see if where's my PowerPoint. Okay, let me stop sharing for a sec.
Good evening. I think he's talking about implementation and execution to
Yeah.
execution.
Okay.
He wants to know the difference between test cases and execution.
Okay, so for your test case, to design your test case, you are obviously going to be using the documentation that has been provided to you, which is the requirement. So, like as I said earlier, if the in with Azure, you will have your BA having the acceptance criteria written for you or designed for you. So what you are doing basically, if you remember with the previous board I shared,
Okay.
the acceptance criteria is already there. That is your documentation that you are working with. Now, if to not execute it, yeah.
Okay.
Let me share my screen. To not execute it, all you have to do is look at what the BA have said and use that documentation, that requirement to test it. So for instance, I said, let's see if we can go back. Let's see which other one is here. Okay, let me just open one if there's anything. Anyway, I don't know why I can't see the one with any. Let me go to it too.
Hello.
Hold on, please. Let me complete that. Okay.
I'm thinking she meant that implementation was the decision or the plan, like the tool to do the next thing, and then executing is when you have already done it, like the plan, the order or the course of action, like how you do it after.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So you implement and then you execute.
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. If
Yeah.
you are talking, because I don't if so to implement, what you want to implement is the requirement that you've been given, thereby writing your test cases. Yes.
Yes.
So from your understanding of the requirements, which what is what the BA have as the acceptance criteria, and then you will not use that. Remember, I said you will not use that to test it. So when you are testing it, you are now what you will do is the previous part I opened. Let me go back to Excel. Where's the Excel? So this one, for instance, I took this from the Azure board. It said, given I'm a user on ReadTube. So this is your requirement. Yeah, this is the requirement you have. So when you want to test it, you will now open the website to test it. When you open the website, you will look at the first step. Remember that one I was ticking manually, that I was ticking. That is how you will do it here. So I will not say, given I'm on user of ReadTube website, I will not go here. I will say successful or ReadTube website Yeah, websites displayed successfully. You can like what I did with the previous student, I was letting them say it. Yeah, you can use any, whichever way you feel this will be clear. Yeah, you don't want to put too much words there. You just want it clear and concise, whereby anybody that is not technical will understand what you are saying here. And then you now said, oh, and I can see various educational video content displayed. Yeah, you can just put video content displayed. Now, you've said video content displayed. Remember, actual, how do I bring this down? Okay. Actual result is different from, what is it called? Expected result, right? Actual result is different from expected result. Now, this is what you are expecting, that when I open the website, there will be no glitch, there will be no issues, it will open up. But then that there will be no bug, there will be no error, there will be no defect. But then when you now open the website did not display. Website's unable to display. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Now, with this, is it a pass or a fail?
A fail.
Exactly. So, because what you want to see is the expected results. That's what you want to see with the action. But but at a point whereby the actual results is saying something else from the expected result, is a fail. For it to be a pass, it has to be the same as expected results. But currently you are now opening this website called ReadTube website, and you couldn't open it. So it's a fail. But you were expecting it to open. That was why you want to open it. And then you now say, let's say this even pass. But you went here. You now say, so if this is a fail, you don't need to continue testing. That's it. You're done. If you also get here, maybe it passed. Everything went well. Maybe it was successful. Let's just change it now. Website is successful. Website display successful. Yeah. Successfully, whatever. Yeah. And you went there, the video did not display. That's what you are expecting. It's a fail. Or maybe the video even went on to display and you tried to navigate, which is one of the slide I was saying I got mixed up when Dami was sharing for me. When I navigate to a website, the video details page, you are expecting it to open. But we've experienced a lot of things when we are trying to navigate on a website. You will get 404. Oops, an error, things like that. That's system crash. That's a fail. Yeah, if you get 404, it's a fail. If you get system crash, whereby you click on, you see the way I'm clicking easily to this. Say, for instance, I click on this and it's not going. That means it's a fail. Or I click on it and the next thing, everything goes blank. That means the system has crashed. It's a bug. So in such cases, you will raise a bug. And how do you raise the bug? We'll touch that next week if time permits us. All you have to do is, given I went to the ReadTube website and I click on video count and you open, but when I click on to navigate to the video detail page, it didn't open. Then that's you reproducing the steps. So when a developer that you've assigned it to, maybe Lau-Me is a developer, you assign it to Lau-Me. So if Lau-Me want to replicate those steps, she don't need to call you. All she do is to follow the documentation that you've used to reproduce the steps. Reproduce the steps means you are telling me this is the format to use to replicate what you have seen or what you have identified as a bug. Any question? Is that clear?
Okay, yeah.
I have a question.
Okay. And you said second question, right? Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, Adeyinka, before you go on, Olusegun, you have your hand up. Good evening.
No, he is the same person.
No, it's not the same person.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's a different person.
Okay. But you said you have two questions.
Yeah, since you called it, let him ask this question.
Oh, okay.
No, I am. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Olusegun is a mentor.
Oh, Rita, don't expose me here. To be honest, I wanted just to step in. I think the question he ought to have asked was the difference between test implementation and test execution. But to be honest, you've answered this question because even the Excel you display in is still part of the test implementation. Every of those scenarios, how you've written it, how you've prepared your test cases, are all more or less test implementation. And I love the way you've even used the Azure DevOps to even explain how to carry out the execution, where you tick no, either it has passed or failed. Those aspects is test execution because you are executing it at that particular point in time. You've given them, you've explained, in depth about the difference between the test implementation and what's it called, a test execution. And to be honest, your explanation is so robust that it's like they've started testing already, to be honest. I never expected you to go in depth because you are like giving them in depth.
Yeah. That Mr. Gigi wanted them to have hands-on. And
It's like you explaining everything to them in just within few hours that you started.
It's you now, you are my mentor now.
No, I'm still learning. That's why I'm just there, seeing what happened. But anyway, you've answered the question, to be honest. You've answered the question.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, next question, please. Your mentor is here. He's good though.
Yeah, I think can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mr. Shegun, I have idea of testing. I've done a couple of trainings elsewhere, and a friend who introduced me to you guys, because of the platform you guys are bringing up to me for your test cases and all of that, is the major reason why I joined the program. And I'm glad that the platform is really going to give me enough exposure. The person is right here. I didn't like it.
Okay.
And, yeah. So the Azure DevOps, my question, the Azure DevOps is more like semi-automated, sort of like compared to Postman, where you have to input your parameters and maybe your API and your testing parameters. I think it makes it easier with the giving when then. All you just need is just to execute and give your report. More like semi-automated, sort of. I just want to be sure.
Maybe could it be semi-automated? Because what you are just doing on your Azure, I mean, it has more features. It's very vast, to be honest. But basically, we only use it for manual. But I think there's been a way that you can integrate your automation into it. That's a different whole process. But what I did just now was just manual, and everything was manually imputed into it. You have to populate it. And the only bit that could look automated, semi-automated, like you said in quote, is the bits whereby I have to execute it manually. But still, you are the one ticking it. And basically you are the one working on it, so it doesn't come up for you compared to automation. If I'm clear on what you are trying to say, automation will basically do everything for you. It's quite different. It's two different things entirely. So you have to populate it anyway, and it doesn't have the URL. Is not going to look at the.
That's exactly what I said. Unlike Postman, on Postman you have to put in your
yes,
URL.
you will put in
exactly. That's what I mean. That it's more like semi-automated.
Postman is backend. So Postman is backend, which is the difference. Postman is entirely backend. Whatever you do, you don't see the front end of Postman. Everything is being done behind the scene. Yeah.
Okay. I look forward to join your internship as soon as possible anyway.
Good. You're welcome.
I'm very good with Postman. I'm very good with JavaScript.
Hello, Rita.
Hello.
A quick one as regarding Azure DevOps. To be honest, for us, or let me say for BlueSky to use Azure DevOps to explain some of, in terms of manual testing, is very, very brief. And let me say, you guys are looking put it that way. There are lots of test management tools, like Jira
Yeah.
and different test management tools. But to be honest, Microsoft, they are the one that has what's it called, Azure DevOps. Its functionalities is so robust. A lot of functionalities. I can tell you, if you're using Jira, it's not maybe we don't use Jira in BlueSky, but we noticed that if you're using Jira, we have to, get external plugin to carry out some functionality.
Yeah.
You notice you are not learning. Let me put it that way. Why must I outsource or get external plugin because I want to carry out certain test execution? But Azure DevOps just like something that is like a software, a tool that has the whole pack.
In one.
Because the Azure DevOps we are using in BlueSky has been licensed. Like, we have every of those packs. And don't be surprised, even for those that want to do automation, just like what Rita said, by the time you want to carry out integrating your work into CI/CD pipeline, you use the same Azure DevOps. So it's very interesting. But however, once you understand Azure DevOps, you can also use Jira too. It's just probably, they are like, how will I describe it? They are just similar to each other. But to be honest, Azure DevOps is more has more packages than
And
Jira.
it's even more professional. That's why I said to
They are
them.
more professional. Most workplaces use Azure, but it's very easy to use, to be honest. Very, very easy.
I can see the collaboration between the developer, the seamless interaction between developer B and all of that, and how the
with Azure.
jobs are being moved exactly. So I can relate.
Yeah, to be honest.
Thank you.
Hello?
I hope that answers your question. Thanks, Olusegun. Any other question?
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, yeah. I just wanted to say, Digi had his hand up a minute
really?
ago.
I can't see. Let me stop sharing.
No, his hand is down now. So, Digi, I'm just checking to see if you would still like to speak.
No. My boss already answered the question. So
okay, that settles it then. Okay.
You mean Olusegun?
No,
yeah, both of you. what I wanted to say, I know Rita was being a bit political, right, in terms of the answers, but Azure DevOps is not semi-automated, actually. It's basically a manual as at now, right? So, and when we say automation, we know what it means, actually. But Azure DevOps could be used for as automation tool in the sense that when it comes to CI/CD part, anyway, which we're going to see anyway. But for now, we take it as a manual tool, right? For now, right? Because that's what it's been exposed to, so that we don't also lose other people that are now looking at what are they talking about.
Yeah, true. So, because CI/CD is a whole different topic on its own. That's exactly another thing.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Yes, great, bro.
Okay. My second question goes.
Okay.
Let me say a thanks to my boss over there. You know himself, so don't let me mention his name. So my second question goes on the board. When you are showing that on the board, you said whenever a ticket is done in the development stage, that the QA have to transfer it to in texting in QA. So is it the right of the QA to take it over to in QA, or the development team have to transfer it to the QA board, the first column of the QA board?
So is the QA that needs to move it. Once the developer is, remember I showed you, you don't move it when the PBI is in dev. You can only move it once it's on the dev done. So once you can see that the ticket is saying dev done, you have every right to then move it to in QA and start testing immediately.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Some developers may be kind to move it for you, but you're better off doing it yourself so that you don't look like that means you are not, how will I put it now? Maybe, it's advisable to do your things quicker rather than people doing it for you. Yeah, because then it will look as if you are not doing what you are supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other question?
No, that's all.
Okay. I mean, someone, yes, iPhone.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please, I have a question because I'm a novice in this, and with some YouTube videos I've watched in terms of reporting bugs and all of that, the steps you take are as follow. Like the first one, you said you have to launch the reproot a link, meaning you have to do some smoke testing to know if the link is working, if the URL will work. And the way you classify it was kind of different from the way I watch it when I saw it on YouTube channel. Because number one was that, let's assume you as a tester is trying to like log in from your end, seeing yourself as the end user of the application. So the first one is verify that a user can log in with correct credentials, which is when you input your username, the password to launch the app to know if it's going to log you in. I think the second one should be after verifying the URL code, like that is after doing the smoky testing to know if the URL is working. The second one is imputing the user's credentials, is imputing is imputing the user's credentials. And the third one is maybe probably navigate to whatsoever you want to check. Maybe probably you want to add a cart. You want to add, yeah, you want to add the cart, like add whatsoever it is to a cart. Then you have to click on the maybe probably the submit button or verify that the person was able to log in. Is it the same thing with this one?
So
Because then when I saw it, I think they actually used what you just explained to us tonight, or they are different.
Okay, so it's totally fine. What you've explained is coming across to me more like end-to-end testing, whereby you start from the beginning up to, like, I used you going to Tesco, for instance. You log in as a, maybe start with even signing up. You don't have an account, you sign up, because if you don't have an account, you won't be able to log in, right? And then you log in, you go back and click in and log in and enter your credentials. When you're done with that, then you start navigating, going to do your shopping and put everything in the basket. After you've done that, you go to checkout and then make payment. That's end-to-end testing, right? Now, I started with, I don't want to bombard you guys with too much. So we have different features under this. An end-to-end test can be longer than that, trust me. But I've just used a simple one.
Yes.
Okay. So, but what I did is just out of that end-to-end, I picked only one particular feature, which is the login functionality feature. Okay. So I don't want to now give you too much and say, start from here and go to the end and do everything. So maybe that is what you saw. But whichever way, whatever thing you want to do, you will definitely start by opening the website. First. Opening the website. Opening the website is the first thing. So what about if you open the website and it doesn't open or the system crash? That's a bug. But if the website open and it's a pass, then you'll be able to now click on the login icon and then put in all your credentials. So if that also pass, that's a pass. But if maybe you omitted something during the input of your credentials, that could impact the testing and it could be a fail. So sometimes you watch again, what have you missed? Or maybe the password had special characters that were supposed to be added during that you added during creating the sign up page when you signed up, when you created the account. And then when you were entering your password, you missed out on some of the special characters. That would be a fail. Or maybe we have what we call boundary value analysis, whereby you shouldn't have maybe you have 8 to 10 characters that you can only impute. during when you were creating your account. But along the line, you were now logging in. You didn't use the exact password that you used. So that would be a fail. So these are, for you to also test, if you remember, I mentioned negative testing. Say, for instance, if you also want to carry out a negative testing on create an account, you see where it says on the password, it should have it should have minimum of 8 characters and maximum of 10 characters with special characters. Yeah. And you try it by putting 7 to see if it will take it. If you input 7 characters and is a pass, you were able to create an account. That is a bug. That's negative testing. If you exceeded 10 and you put 11 and it passes, that is a bug. If you did not add any special characters and it passes, that is a bug. And even with the email address, maybe you omitted the @ from it, and you went on to put in that detail and it accepted it. That's also a bug. Those are called negative testing. I don't know if Olusegun wants to add to that, but yeah, I'll let Olusegun speak.
My second question is,
okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Can you hear me?
My second question is, I want to. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, there's a delay. It's fine.
Okay.
Go on.
My second question is, I actually want to be clarified about actual results and expected results. With my understanding, I used to think that actual results is what is the let's assume you were testing something now. The result you met on the app, is the should be the actual result. Why the expected result should be something you should get. So if it doesn't work out that way, it's an error, meaning there is a bug because you didn't get the expected results you were expecting.
Yeah. You've kind of explained it. So actual result is like as I said earlier, you try to open the website and the website did not open. That is what you are seeing. That is actual. That is the actual result. So currently, that's why sometimes when we are writing our report, we will say the current behavior. I do that a lot. The current behavior, because trust me, somebody else might go there and say they didn't see that, or somebody might have worked on it just before you.
That's why they need
exactly, and they didn't experience what you experienced. So I would say currently the website is behaving like this, or things like that. So the actual is what you are currently seeing, what is visible right now.
Yeah.
But expected results, your expectations is for the website to open. Is that clear? Or you're still confused?
Yeah, it's clear now. Just because I thought you actually said, maybe when the app, the website wasn't open, is an actual result, is an expected result. I think something failed, so I think I got it wrong. Then, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's fine. You're welcome. Any other question? Olusegun is here. You should ask him question. Any other question? Okay, thank you, everyone. And Damisola, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rita, for taking the session tonight and answering lots of questions. Apologies to everyone for going over the scheduled time. We're over by 18 minutes. So I will just say goodnight to every single one of us. Please remember that we continue with this 2-week free training tomorrow. So please come, invite your friends, send the link to people that you think need to be here or might find this very beneficial. So invite. Yeah, just spread the word. Hopefully you'll see all of you and some more tomorrow. Thanks again, Rita. Thanks, Olusegun, for answering the questions as well. And thanks, as always, to Deji. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks again, Juliet and Olawumi.
Damisola,